inside the chess brain. How does a grandmaster's brain really work when he is playing chess? How do he think? How do he make his decision? What is going on inside the brain? This is the topic of this video, where I will explain the concept of chunks. What is chunks? Well, it turned out that some scientists were scanning some grandmaster's brain while they were playing chess in order to find out if something weird or interesting or special was going on. And what it turned out was that in most grandmasters do something other players do not do. They think in chunks. So what is a chunk? It's sort of dividing the board into more sort of squares or figures, or group them in different themes or patterns and so on. It's very abstract. You could say that chess consists of like all these this person. You could say that this is one chunk. And what's going on there is something that you will look at locally, and then you will connect globally. But you could also say that that some other chunks could be themes of special piece placement, special themes, things that seems to go on in this position. And I've chosen an example because it's rather abstract how this functions, that we will look at the knight here. So the knight is on f5 or f4, and that is what I would say one chunk. And when there's a knight there, a lot of chunks pops up. By the way, this name chunks is inspired by thinking in chunks, inspired by Annie Duke's book Thinking in Bets. That is completely different. She's a poker player, and it's, by the way, a great book. I can definitely recommend it. It's a nice book. Anyway, when the knight is here, a lot of things comes up that you see if you're trained to do this, and you have the knight f5 chunk in your brain, then the neurons will easily find the solution here, which is check. By the way, we see that the bishop here is covering this square, so there is no checkmate here due to the bishop. But there is a pin on the queen, on the king, and that means you can give a check, and the king will have to go because of the pin. And after this forks the queen and the king. This is a very normal theme. And after this, white wins a queen and wins the game. So that is a part of the knight f5 chunk, and we will not save this. And this one is another example of the knight f5 chunk. Equal position. There are some ideas you could attack here, but if you know your knight f5 chunk, you will see that in this situation there are some thematic going on with the knight on f5, f6 and the king and so on. So if you have your queen knight f5 chunk in orderly fashion, you will easily spot the winning move here, which is, or it's winning a pawn, is this move, taking away the pawn, a very important pawn in black's king. And after this move, check, you give a check that way, and after the next move you will be able to take the knight with a very promising queen ending that's probably winning, and definitely have very good chances of winning in a practical game. So that's also part of the knight f5 chunk, and we will see another example. So that is and the reason why this is so important is that it makes it much easier to see things like this move, because you know the chunk so well that you will just have to see if there's anything else. You know that within this frame here, this definitely works. So that's part of it. So if there's nothing on the other side that sort of interferes with this, then this is good. And it's a theme, it's a tactical trick you have seen many times before. Okay, next one. I will not save this. And this one is also part of the knight f5 chunk. We see that the knight here is usually it's very close to the king. So whenever pieces get close to the king, that's the kill zone, as Orgard calls it. There are different checks you can give. You can give a check here, and you can give a check here. You also see that the rook is active, so white is much more active. He could do something like this, and that would probably win, because you're threatening mate, and the queen does not have a check, and you're also threatening this, winning the queen. But there is a much better move, so we will see that. Check, and after this move, we see this move is a great little trick. And this move, by the way, this is not only the knight f5 chunk, this is also the knight e7 chunk, and these kind of chunks you have everywhere, and you also have some. Even if you're not a grandmaster, you definitely have some chunks you use when you make decisions. And like they say, neurons that fire together, wire together, so you make it into a big chunk, and it will be like, I'm sure that Carlsen, probably, which we will see next, probably has the biggest chunk of them all, where everything is connected, and even things I probably don't know is a chunk for Carlsen. Okay, let's see a game where it was a little bit surprising that Carlsen did not see something that would be part of my 95 chunk, and it was played yesterday in the Chessable Masters. And Carlsen is black. We'll switch the board. He is black against Nils Grandelius, that we have known here a lot, seen a lot here on DM Talks, who lives in Copenhagen, by the way. So I'm not the highest rated player in Copenhagen. That is Nils Grandelius. D5, the C3 Sicilian is what Nils is doing these days. And here Carlsen plays this, and this is very typical Carlsen. He likes to confuse people, especially players with like Nils, that is rather good theoretically. And by the way, is a little bit interesting that Nils is also helping Magnus as a second in World Championship matches and so on. And I think you can do a lot of things here. A move that makes sense is Queen A4, actually, which interferes a lot with getting the pawn back for black. Nils gives a check, and after this, E6. I think white is a little bit nervous about something like this, and black will get good compensation. And by the way, it's probably an interesting gambit. I don't really trust it, but I think something like this is probably very fine for black, that you will get great compensation. But that's not the part of the video that's interesting here. And D4 is definitely not the best move, because after E6, black is already equalized completely and is probably already better. And why is he better? That's also a chunk. The bishop pair chunk. Black has the bishop pair. Bishops are generally better than knights, unless they're not. So, and he wins this one, but black wins this one. And in general, I think black is already better here. A lot of strange things happened now. I think here you might even go b5. I think here actually probably this move was very good. Some really annoying checks. Anyway, that's not the theme either. Knight is coming in, and I don't know. He's probably afraid that he will take this one and take here, which makes sense. So to avoid that, he plays this move, but that allows the knight to go here onto the f4 square. So it's the f5 chunk, just with color reversed, and we immediately see that it's threatening a lot of stuff here. It's threatening here, and it's threatening here. Oops, here, not here. And white goes with the king. Not very nice to have to do that. Black plays queen here. covering the pawn, but most importantly, and freeing the bishop, whatever, and attacking here. So this makes sense. And bishop comes out, and of course it's already clear that black is taking over here. This is a serious threat as well. So white panics, and I don't know really what went so horribly wrong for white here, but it was not good. And bishop here, and queen here, and in this position, that's interesting. We have another kind of and then we also have the king here. The thing to notice is that black probably have a very strong move here. I cheated. I saw it with the computer. White does have a very strong move here. Black does have a very strong move here, and it should be, I think, part of the knight here chunk. He played this move instead. This move is very strong, undermining the knight here, getting ready to take this one, and something like this simply does not work. You just go here, and the checks is nothing, and black's attack is way stronger than anything white have. So this simply doesn't work. You can analyze yourself. Instead, Carlsen did so this. I was surprised, but I think it was a little bit of chase laziness. I think that Carlsen saw that after this move and this move, he's better. So why not just play it simple? I don't want to calculate rook takes e7 or something. So that was a bit of chess laziness. We have seen that before with Carlsen, by the way. Yes. Okay, and check, and knight goes back. So he just went back, and here, very simple, saying, okay, I got everything under control here. I just need my queen not to be kicked. So I just stopped taking the square away here, and of course this is a monster in the future. Knight comes around, hoping to get here. And black just have time for this move, and after this move, he just takes over control of the white square. At the moment, black is down 2 pawns, but we can see that this one is going to be really good. It's not going to be easy getting this rook out, and the king is in trouble here. So it's in so big trouble, we'll make it red. Knight here, queen here. That was also been the answer before, and black is basically saying, okay, I have a much better ending, and here white, this move is not good, right? So and this ending is of course pretty annoying for white. It's maybe not a disaster, but you would rather have this one than a knight and a pawn, which is probably part of Carlsen's bishop pair chunk. I'm probably getting very tired of me saying this bishop thing. By the way, and you don't want to do this because this bishop is so strong. Here, king has come out. He cannot really get his pieces developed. If he played king, he could just play the bishop here. This pressure here is oops. I'm not gonna. Sorry. He went here, ready to give maybe a check here, and that's of course very annoying. But unfortunately, he should allow that and just go back and say, okay, I'm much worse. Instead, he played this move, which is basically a losing blunder because the bishop pair is just way too strong now. Check, hitting the knight and the bishop here, so he has to take back. And check, kicking the king into the game. Here, only move not to lose the exchange immediately, but even after this move, it's not nice to have to play this. Believing that you will survive something with the rooks coming here is not very feasible. Knight here, yeah. Well, bishops are better than knights for sure. And black is just piling up the pressure here. Check, and check, and here you suddenly see, oh no, I have to go somewhere because otherwise I will lose the knight. And if I go here, then bishop c4, can I go here, then it's lost. So I have to go here, and after this move, well, it's not fun, right? It's just not fun, and you can it's understandable that that the black white resigned after something like this. You just can take this run, right? And all the pins in the world are really sucking all the air out of poor white here. So he resigned. But it was a little bit interesting that Magnus Carlsen's bishop knight f4 chunk did not include this move. So I would now but you know it now. You have so by seeing this video, you have probably improved your knight f4 or knight f5. That is the knight here or here. Understanding and seeing the themes and understanding and integrating it into your calculation, which is basically what you are always trying to do when you use this chunk. And it's not something that you say, oh, I'm going to use chunk. It's something that just happens, that your brain wire the information this way so you can use it. By the way, for members, there will be a little bit of bonus video with the knight on f4 and well, actually it's a white knight on f5 in one of my nice little attacking games. So if you're not a member, please sign up. And thank you for watching. This was GM Talks.